I don't know whether to be excited or scared. Hey, what's up guys? My name is the Cherno and welcome to Vulkan Week. I'm gonna try and keep this as short as possible because it's supposed to start in like 25 minutes and I have to quickly chuck this video up. But basically what Vulkan Week is me live streaming this entire week. Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time to 6 p.m. every single day this week. I will be live streaming on twitch.tv/thecherno and I will be implementing or adding Vulkan support to Hazel Dev's renderer. So for those of you who don't know, Hazel Dev currently and Hazel itself as well, the game engine series, they both use OpenGL at the moment, and for numerous reasons I've wanted to actually add Vulkan support for quite a while, and I thought that the best way to deal with this is just to probably just sit down and just work at it all week. Don't get distracted with anything else, just sit down and just work really hard and just do it all in 1 week, and that is what is happening this week. Now I want to make a few notes here. First of all, why are we adding Vulkan support? I mentioned recently that I wanted to go back and polish a lot of what Hazel has to offer. The previous Hazel devlog, which I'll link up there, actually talks a lot about, how good is good enough and do we want to go back and kind of, make things better. And I decided that yes, I did want to go back and make things better. This is part of that kind of polishing pass. It's really important for me to get Vulkan down and for Hazel to start supporting that for quite a lot of reasons, to be honest. Primarily because it's going to lay the groundwork, the foundation for the rest of Hazel's renderer. OpenGL is not a very, how should we say this, normal rendering API. There are a lot of concepts in there that are missing or that we have to emulate when we deal with other APIs such as DirectX or even DirectX 11, not to mention DirectX 12 and Vulkan as well. And getting some of those concepts down, structuring our renderer around Vulkan instead of around OpenGL is going to actually lay a lot of groundwork for us to be able to later implement DirectX a lot more easily, or Metal if we choose to go down that route as well. But the other big difference is that Vulkan obviously supports a lot more things than OpenGL does, namely ray tracing. One of my goals this year is to actually add ray tracing to Hazel. I want to be able to do something ray trace, whether that be ray trace reflections or shadows or global illumination, something like that. I want to have some form of ray tracing in Hazel Dev by the end of the year. And obviously to make that happen, I'm going to need to use either Vulkan or DirectX 12. Vulkan being the much more kind of flexible API, it supports more platforms. I can run it on Windows, Mac, although that's, we'll see what happens with that, Linux and Android as well, which means it's a lot more flexible to me as a solo developer to use rather than DirectX 12, which of course is Windows and Xbox only. So anyway, because of all of those reasons, I think it's really good to add Vulkan support to Hazel because it's just going to lay the foundation for very, very exciting things to come in the future, as well as force me to actually write a better renderer, because it's the way that Vulkan is structured. For those of you who have used it, it kind of forces you to do that because it's a lot more low level and you have to think a lot more about what the GPU is actually doing and what you want it to do and where and how and all that stuff. Now, let's talk about my experience with Vulkan in the past. I've been using Vulkan since probably before it officially came out. Back when I worked at EA, we added it to our mobile engine, which also supported Windows. And that was, a fun experience. I didn't play too big of a role in that part, but I was exposed to a lot of Vulkan code, to a lot of testing, all of that stuff. So that was my first experience with Vulkan. Back then, it was very dodgy. It, frequently we try and get it to run on Android, and if it crashed, it just rebooted the Android device. There were a lot of driver issues, and that was my first kind of, being whoa, this Vulkan thing needs some work to make it good. And since then, I know it's improved a lot. I haven't used it too much since then. I think the only thing I've really done is about 9 or 10 months ago, I basically took the game engine series version of Hazel, which just has a 2D renderer, and I added Vulkan support to that. That was 10 months ago, and whilst that did work, and I did learn a lot more about Vulkan during that period of time, I haven't touched Vulkan code in about 9 or 10 months. And what that means, at least for me, is I've basically forgotten everything. I have, I know what render passes, render command buffers, all of those kind of pipelines. I remember how that stuff loosely works, but it's not like OpenGL, where I could probably sit down and just, write an OpenGL program or a renderer that works on paper, because I just know all of the API so well. Vulkan is not like that at all, and to be honest, it's a lot more verbose, so I don't think remembering something like that is something that a lot of people are able to actually do. So it's going to be fun, I think. It's going to be very challenging this week. I don't know how much I'm going to get done this week. I'm going to give it my best shot. There is a lot of stuff that has to be done in HazelDev first before we can even start Vulkan. So I think last live stream that I did, which was on Friday, I started basically rewriting the whole shader compiler and the whole shader system inside Hazel to use SPIR-V, which is like a binary shader format, instead of basically what I was doing, which was just using the OpenGL compiler and then actually using like a parser that I wrote to go through all of the uniforms and figure out their types and, you know, create uniform buffers basically. Well, we didn't actually use uniform buffers, but like makeshift client-side uniform buffers and all of that stuff. It was quite an interesting little system that I've basically started rewriting so that it all uses SPIR-V, SPIR-V's reflection, but we can also compile stuff actually online, like at runtime, and it's pretty cool, but that needs to be done before we can even start Vulkan. So today's live stream is going to be probably focused on getting SPIR-V to actually work with OpenGL first, and then we're going to start on Vulkan. So there's a few like housekeeping things that need to be done before we can like dive in and actually start working on the Vulkan renderer. Hopefully that's not going to take more than just today to figure out, and then the rest of the week can be devoted to Vulkan. There's also a lot of planning I think that needs to be done in order to get this stuff off the ground. Anyway, the point is, it's a lot of hard work, but I'm really looking forward to it. We'll see how we go. Twitch.tv/the Cherno. The live stream starts in like 20 minutes according to this, if I can get this video out in time. So definitely check out the schedule as well, twitch.tv/the Cherno/schedule, because that will, you know, in your time zone, that'll show you what hours I'm actually streaming in. So if you're interested in catching any of those streams, then you can check that out. Now, as for like the video recordings of streams, the VODs, they're going to be available to Twitch subscribers and to patrons as well, as usual. So patreon.com/the Cherno, you'll get the VODs indefinitely, because on Twitch they actually expire after 14 days. So if you're interested in, or if you're not catching the streams or you want to watch them later as well, then you can help support me and get access to all of those VODs as well. It's a win-win. Anyway, I'm really excited for this, to be honest, and a little bit scared. As I mentioned, it's not just going to be about me implementing Vulkan, it's also going to be about me learning Vulkan again, because I feel like I've learned it at least 3 times in my life, and I keep forgetting it, because if you don't keep using Vulkan, I feel like it's just so complicated that you'll just slowly forget everything and then you'll have to start again. So it's going to be a lot of fun, lots of tears to be had, I think. But hope to see you guys there, and I will see you next time. Oh, one more thing I wanted to add as well was that obviously because of this, there's not going to be any videos this week, I think. No, there's going to be one on Friday, I believe, but apart from that, like, normal videos are not really going to be happening this week. Instead, we're doing this Vulkan Week thing. So yeah, anyway, see you guys there. Goodbye.